So we just completed our shared parameter file and attached it to the model. So our next step is going to be to go through the model and define that parameter for all of the elements in this model that we're going to want to export to Navisworks to run our 4D simulation. So before we get started with that, I'll just mention that you'll see here I'm working on a revised model. So what I've done is just gone through and added the framing components, the beams and stuff that we're missing. Initially, our intent was to have you guys add that yourself as sort of an exercise, but it occurred to me that you may or may not have experience coming up with your own framing plans. So to avoid any additional stress and time, I just went through and did it. So if you've already added your own framing, that's fine too. Just go ahead and work on your own model, but you're more than welcome to do the revised one. So to go along with the framing I added, I also created some additional framing plans here in our project browser. So to get started, I guess we'll start on the second floor, or no, second floor framing. Okay, so this is a pretty rough framing plan. I apologize for that, but you can see we've added some concrete beams in here that are going to support our hollow core plank flooring. So what we want to do is select everything that's going to be grouped together in our schedule and give it the task ID number associated with that. So for the second floor framing, we are going to want to select just the framing members, and the quickest way to do that is if I do a sweep and select everything. Then I can come up here to filter, and I can check none. That'll turn off everything, and then I just select, these ones here. Click OK. There, so now you can see I've selected just the framing and didn't have to click 100 times. So pretty handy. Now what we're going to do is come over to our properties window. You can see we just defined our task ID parameter. So we can fill that in once here and it'll apply to all of the framing that we just highlighted. So if we come over to our template, our schedule template, which I have printed out in front of me, we're going to look at the level 1 beams, and the number associated with that is 130. So let's add that in there. Enter. Perfect. I should mention too the naming convention for the floors. You'll notice in the template file, everything associated with level 1 includes the beams and the joists that are overhead. So basically if you're standing on the first floor looking up, what you're going to see, those beams that you're going to see above you, they're labeling as level 1. Typically with a structural framing plan, whatever is holding up that floor is going to be how you describe it. So if you're on the first floor looking up, that's going to be holding up the second floor. So that's why on our file here we're calling it the second floor framing. So just be aware of that naming convention in the future. So we've defined our framing. I'll spare you from watching me define all the rest. Actually, let's go to the section here. The section's already defined. If I click on it, I can either come to my project browser on the side and I can find that section, or what's usually quicker is I can just right click on the section mark itself and then I can click go to view. So let's do that instead. Okay, so here's my section. Let me just zoom in here, and if we select this beam, let's say second floor framing, there, so you can see under construction here, the task ID, this is the number that we just filled in. So we can just kind of confirm that. Click escape here. So this is probably going to be the easiest way to add the parameter to your floors, just because you can see them all in the same view here. So we're going to click on floor, zoom out, and just confirm that we can see it is continuous across the whole level. So we come over to our task ID. I'm going to highlight this and I'm going to go back to my schedule file. And level 2 floor deck is going to be 210. So plug that in. Done. And then let's do that for the 3rd floor. Come to my handy little schedule. Floor deck, so this one's going to be 310. So you get the idea. What we want to do is just go through the tasks and assign the different numbers to the elements in the model. It's not rocket science, so I will let you guys take care of that on your own.